everybody, welcome back to 2 Max Try. I'm Joelle.
And I'm Stuart!
But he's not going to be in this video this week because we're baking bread, and that is usually more my thing than his. I made this bread last week, and it was maybe our favorite bread that I've ever made. So, at least like a loaf bread. So it is honey oat bread, and I found the recipe on Pinterest, and I will link it down below so that you guys can make it if you want to. So that will have all of the amounts and everything in it. Let's get started. All right, to the bowl of your stand mixer. The recipe, the instructions call for a stand mixer. I'm pretty sure you could do it by hand. You would just need a lot more muscles. But I'm gonna use the stand mixer. So to your stand mixer, you're going to add 3 cups of white flour and 3/4 of a cup of oats and 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And your yeast, I'm using active dry yeast. I'm pretty sure you could use instant yeast as well. And we're just using 1 whole packet, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons. And then the next step is you take 1 cup of milk and 2 tablespoons of butter, and you're gonna put it in the microwave just until the butter melts, but you don't want the milk to boil. All right, I've microwaved my milk and butter mixture. It took about 1.5 minutes, and I did it at 30-second increments. So we're gonna add the warmed milk and butter to all of our dry ingredients. And then, in this measuring cup, I have 1/4 cup of honey with 1/4 cup of warm water, and we're gonna add that to our mixture as well. Make sure you get all that honey goodness. All right, and then we are going to attach this to our mixer with our dough hook, and we are going to knead it for right around 8 minutes. I'll show you that process, and you wanna always kind of keep the flour out with you. If the dough looks like it's a little bit too sticky and isn't coming together to form like one ball of dough, you wanna add like a spoonful of flour at a time until it comes together. All right, I've kneaded the dough for about 7 minutes, and that is what it looks like. I did have to add a little bit of flour, which you guys saw in the little montage there. And as you can see, it only stuck just kind of like a little bit right around the edge, but nothing farther down. And that's kind of what I like it to look like. So let's take it out of the mixer, and we're gonna dump it into a greased bowl and cover it with a towel and let it rise for about 1 hour to 1.5 hours or until it's doubled in size. One of the things that bugs me the most about cooking shows is when they never scrape the bowl. You're making all this effort to make something delicious, you better get every little bit of it. Now, that's my philosophy. All right, that's pretty good. All right, we're just gonna flip it over once so that its whole thing gets coated in the oil so we don't have any dry bits of dough. And then we're gonna cover it with a tea towel, and we'll be back in about 1 hour. Okay, so it's been 1 hour, and we've let the dough rise, and I think it has definitely doubled in size. So we are going to dump it out onto a floured surface, flatten it into a square. We're gonna roll it up and then put it into our greased loaf pan. So we don't want a lot of flour, just a little bit. Okay. And we are gonna dump this out. Perfect. And I just try and get it so that it's about the width of the loaf pan that way. And then just an even layer this way. All right, that looks good to me. So we are gonna roll it up tightly. All right. And then we are going to place it in the loaf pan with the seam down. I have to put that under too. See how this goes. All right. And then we are going to let it rise for another half hour to an hour till it's doubled in size again. So the bread has been rising for 45 minutes, and about 20 minutes ago I preheated the oven to 350. So there's just one more step before we put it in the oven. All right, there's our risen bread. Now we are going to take some honey and we are going to spread it all over the top of the bread, and then we are going to sprinkle it with some oats. That way everybody knows exactly what this bread is. I have to say, the last time I made this bread, the honey spread all over the top of it was maybe my favorite part because the crust got kind of crunchy and it was sweet. Oh gosh, it was so good. So I'm gonna do a little bit more honey this time, because if you like something one time, the next time you always do more, right? Okay, I think that's pretty good. Now we will sprinkle it with some oats. Ta-da! Oh my gosh, doesn't that look so good? All right, now we're going to put this in the 350-degree oven. I will show you a picture, but what the recipe says to do is to take a second loaf pan and put 2 cups of water into the loaf pan, and you're gonna put this on the rack below the rack that you're gonna put the bread on. So let's do this. All right, we're gonna set a timer for about 40 minutes and we'll be back. All right, here is the finished product. We're going to let it cool and then we will cut into it and give it a taste. All right, everybody, the bread has cooled.
And I'm here just to eat the bread.
It's like Chicken Little.
No, not Chicken Little.
No.
Was it the old red hen or whatever it was?
Oh goodness, if you remember what fairy tale it is, let us know.
Okay.
I grind the wheat, whatever, bake the bread.
I'm just here to eat the bread.
Well, here's the bread. Ooh, it looks so good. I'm gonna cut into it and we will take a taste. It is still a little warm, which I find is the best way to eat freshly baked bread.
We run into some recipes with breads that are like, you need to wait till it's completely cool.
Yeah,
and we're like, forget that.
Look at that bread, it looks so good. Okay, first we will taste it without butter. And then we will taste it with butter. What's better than warm bread with butter? Not much.
Without butter?
No, with butter.
Warm bread with butter.
I would taste the top because that's where I put honey on it, so it'll be a little sweet.
All right. That is a good bread.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could honestly take this same recipe and dip it out into like muffin tins and make rolls.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that'd be so good.
Like, that'd be so good.
It's sweet, it's got a great texture. It's not like, sometimes homemade bread is like that fall apart, like you would make a sandwich out of it and the bread just crumbles. This is a lot moister. I think that's because of the oatmeal in it.
Right.
And it's just really good.
It's just really good.
Yeah. I'm gonna put a little butter on mine. You can too if you want.
I'm not allowed.
And by a little butter, I mean like slathered. Oh, you're a little bit more.
I'm a little more reserved with my butter, so let's give that a try. Bread's always better with butter.
It is so good.
Mm-hmm.
I highly, highly recommend you make this bread. I have baked a lot of bread in my time. I worked in a bakery for years and years. And this is maybe my favorite bread that I've ever baked.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, that's all I got to say. Like,
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Absolutely. So make sure you check out the link that we'll put in the description for this recipe. It's amazing what you find on Pinterest, right?
I love it.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you liked it. If you did, give us a thumbs up and a subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Take care, guys.
Bye.